Hey everyone, welcome back to the Adobe After Effects tutorial with Mr. Will. Thanks for joining me again. In this segment, we're going to be talking about keyframes. All right, the topics to be covered is what is keyframes and how to use the keyframe ease in tool. All right, let's start at the top. What is keyframes? Keyframes set the parameters for all effects over time. All right, so think of keyframes as journey points. Keyframes tell After Effects when an animation or a motion starts and when a motion or animation ends, okay? So let's just go ahead and show you some examples. Let's jump right into a tutorial. So let's get into After Effects. I'm gonna click on a new composition and I'm gonna leave all the parameters the same, okay? So what I'm gonna do is follow with me. We're gonna start off by creating a shape. We create a circle. If you hold the shift key down, it'll create a perfect circle, okay? I'm gonna create two of these circles. So I'm gonna come up here to the layer, create new shape layer, okay? And then I'm gonna change the color, change something like that or something like this, all right? I'll come down here, create another circle, hold shift. All right, there we go. I got my two shapes inside the composition. All right, so let's talk about keyframes. Keyframes can be applied to the four principles, all right? So what were those four principles? Position, scale, rotation, and opacity. So let's just go ahead and take a look. All right, so getting back to the composition, we're working here in the timeline panel. All effects are applied in the timeline panel, so don't forget that. So let's go ahead and show you what keyframes are and what they do. We're going to give animation to our shape layer. So I'm going to come to shape layer number 1, since that's the first layer that we created. I'm going to come to the left of the layer name and expand the arrow. I'm going to come down to transform, and then I'm going to come down to position. Once I click the stopwatch to position, that is telling After Effects that an animation is about to happen. All right, well, this is where we want the animation to begin. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag the timeline indicator to about the middle, and then I'm going to click. Well, actually, I'm going to then drag over our shape. Actually, I'm not going to drag, I'm going to use the position value to bring it here, right? Then that created a key point, and then I'm going to drag the time indicator to the end of the screen, and then now I'm going to change the position value to bring it all the way over to the end. All right. And then I'm going to bring that marker back, okay? So we're going to create an animation sequence for the second layer. All right, so here we go. Second layer is selected. We expanded the layer. We're going to come down to position. Make sure the time indicator is a 0, and we're going to hit the time stopwatch for position to let After Effects again know that an animation will be starting. All right, so we're going to come to the middle, kind of how we did with the other keyframe. All right, we're going to change the position value and move this over, and that creates a keyframe. Again, keyframes are indicated by a blue diamond and the timeline layers by the layers, and in the timeline by gray diamonds, okay? These are keyframes. So if you see these within layers, you know that their keyframes have been set and the animations have been set, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep going. We're going to drag the timeline indicator all the way to the end, and then we're going to change the position value all the way over. All right. So what we're going to do for this layer though, we're going to add the ease in effect. So what you want to do is you want to right click on the keyframe, come down to keyframe assist, and go up to easy ease in. All right, as you see, the keyframe shape changed. So whenever you're going into a composition or you're working on a project and you expand the layer and you see that the keyframe looks different, it's because an effect has been applied and it's been modified. Okay, so we're going to do this for all three keyframes. Right click, come down to keyframe assistant, easy ease in, and then we're going to come to the last keyframe, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease in, and then we're going to bring the animation back. We're going to start the timeline back at 0. Just because I like a cleaner panel, I'm going to close these tabs, and let's go ahead and hit the space bar and see what happens. You see how the one at the top kind of moves like steadily across, while the other one on the bottom kind of switches speeds. All right, so the top layer, number 1, indicates a keyframe with no ease in effect, and the shape layer number 2 shows you what the ease in effect does. It adds like a natural speed up and a slow down motion to it. All right, it kind of gives it that more realistic effect. So key points to take away from this segment right here is that keyframes are set for each property separately on a layer. An animation or an effect sequence will always begin with the keyframe to start and end in your sequence. Many keyframes can be applied to a particular property to create dynamic sequences, and keyframing, easing can be added to apply smoothness to a sequence. All right, so again, thank you for joining me. That is Keyframing with Mr. Will. See you soon.